Welcome to the raw and uncensored Ambitchious podcast. During our time here together, I will be instilling all of the strength, power, and determination you will need to use the very stones thrown at you to build your ultimate empire. We will redefine the word bitch from the derogatory to the acronym being in total control of herself. So let's adjust our crowns and prepare to live life ambitiously. Yeah, here I am, the original HBIC, Katie motherfucking Boyd. And on today's episode of the Ambitchious podcast, I'm going to teach y'all how to reverse engineer your most ambitious goals. And let me tell you, I have been freaking balls deep obsessed with this topic. I don't know. I mean, I've always been obsessed with reaching my goals and success and all that good stuff. But like today, the last couple of weeks, I have been like dipping my balls in it like hardcore, and my balls are moist, and I'm ready to share what my moist balls have experienced and channeled. So everything that I'm going to be teaching you guys today is all channeled. It's all come to me from spirit, from the divine. I didn't pull this shit out of my ass. I didn't, take a bunch of people's studies and bring them all together. This is really the things that I'm doing going forward that are helping me and my bitcherhood, which is my ambitious community from women all across the globe, to utilize these tools to truly live life ambitiously. I'm so excited to share this with you. Okay, so this is like hardcore stuff that we're doing today. So if you are driving, you can listen to it, and then when you get home, listen to it again, and then take out a journal or a notebook and a writing utensil and take feverish notes on this, because let me tell you, this is next level information, and it is not from this earth. It is from spirit. It is from the divine. It is from another realm of reality, and that's how I know that this is magic, and that's how I know that this is spelling, and that's how I know that it's going to take your life to the absolute next level. And the women that I'm already working with in the Ambitchious community are already doing this work, and they're fucking killing it. Okay. So the first thing that I want to do before we start is I want to call in our power posse. I talk a lot about calling in your power posse in Ambitchious the book, in A28P, in Ambitchious Academy, over on the Ambitchious app. This is like something that I like hammer into people's heads, because we are not alone on this journey called life. We're just not. We have all of these beings around us that are literally waiting in the wings to help us manifest our greatest goals, dreams, aspirations, and desires. And if you are not working with your power posse, as I like to call it, then honey, this is probably why you aren't living an ambitious life. So if you're not driving, close your eyes. If you are driving, wait till you get home, or you can just call in your power posse without closing your eyes. I don't give a shit what you do, but just let's call in our power posse. So what I like to do is I like to close my eyes, and let's take a nice deep breath collectively. So wherever you are across space and time, wherever you are, anywhere in the world, let's call in our power posse. So let's take a nice deep breath together, inhaling in through our noses, filling up our lungs, exhaling all the way out. God, Goddess, universal life force energy, all of our guardians and guides and loved ones who are no longer here on this three-dimensional earth plane, and all of our ancestors who came before us, and our family of galactic beings of light. Fill up all of our vessels and surround each and every one of us with your light and your love and your ancient wisdom. Help this message go so deep into the subconscious minds of all of my ambitious from all across the globe, so that we may awaken to the fact that we are master manifestors, and we can have and experience and do anything that we desire in the world, in this universe, and more. In Jesus' name, amen, and thank you in advance. And so it is. Shabuya. Yes. Didn't that feel fucking good? Felt so good, right? Okay. Whew. I have a lot of shit here. I'm reading off a notebook. It's fucking chicken scratch, because when I channel, I automatic write. And so if it takes me a second to read my own writing, you know that it's this is what's happening in ambitious land right now. Okay. So how do we reverse engineer our most ambitious, audacious, lofty goals? So the first thing that I want to touch upon, and this may seem like, duh, Katie, this is a no-brainer, but the first thing is, do you have written goals? If not, I promise each and every one of you that you are never going to live the life that you deserve and that you desire and that is your birthright and the thing that was placed in your heart when you chose your life contract to come and incarnate here in this three-dimensional reality of what we call, in the English language, Mother Earth. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to write down our goals. So I don't care if you write them down on your phone. I don't care if you have a journal or a notebook, but I believe, and this is what God has been telling me for years and years and years, is writing hand to paper with a writing utensil. It does something neurologically, psychologically, subconsciously, energetically to wire the neurons and fire the neurons together. Okay. So I believe in my heart that when you write down your goals, it just helps you manifest quicker. That's just my personal opinion. And I've been doing goal writing since I was probably about 13, 14 years old. And I have buckets and buckets and buckets, like huge plastic tubs in my basement of every journal that I've ever kept in my entire life. So you can literally go back to journals that I've had since I was like in high school and read them. And all of my dreams, goals, and aspirations since then have all come true in one way, shape, or form in my adult life. I promise you. I can prove it to you. I can show you these journals, okay? So the first thing is we have to have written goals. And did you know, I was doing some research on this, did you know only 2% of the human population has their goals written out? A lot of people will just be like, oh, I know what I want to achieve. No, you don't. You really don't, unless that is written down on a piece of paper, in a journal, in a notebook, and you look at it multiple times a day. You probably will never achieve your goals. And excuse me, if you know about the 98.2% thing that we talk about all the time, where 98% of the human population are just zombies walking the earth. They don't even know why they're here. They're just asleep. And then the 2% of the population controls the zombies. Now, don't come for me. I'm not trying to be an elitist. I'm just saying that usually if you don't have your goals written down, the 2% of the population is going to tell you what the fuck to do. They're going to be your bosses. They're going to be the people that are, managing you in your job. But no one fucking tells me what to do. Yes, of course, I have clients that pay my bills and that make me abundant, but they don't tell me what to do. We have a co-creation relationship. No one is like on me saying like, Katie, you got to do this. Katie, you got to do that. I do it because I'm an entrepreneur and I know that this is my definiteness of purpose on earth. And that's why I show up the way that I do. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to write down our goals in a journal. I'm going to get way more deep into this. So this is just numero uno. You have to have your goals written down. And there's actually 4 problems that I've come across in my many, many, many years of being a very high level coach in the motivational space. I've been doing this for 20 plus years, and I've coached, multiple 7-figure earners, very wealthy people, very famous people, very elite athletes, very elite competitors. And there's 4 problems that I have kind of written down over the years and taken note of. And this is why people don't have concrete goals. This is why they don't have concise goals. And if you don't have concrete and concise goals that are written down, you will never achieve your most ambitious goals. And here's the 4 reasons why people do not have concrete goals. The first one is they are so afraid of fear of criticism, and they're so afraid of rejection. And the reason why you are so afraid of rejection and criticism is because you're hanging out with a bunch of fucking assholes that have no hopes, dreams, goals, and aspirations, so that you feel weird when you actually have hopes, dreams, goals, and aspirations, because no one else around you has any hopes, dreams, goals, and aspirations. So of course, the people that you're hanging out with are going to criticize you. Of course, they're going to reject your lofty dreams, goals, and aspirations. They're going to make fun of you. They're going to laugh at you. They're going to say, who the fuck do you think you are trying to do that? That's crazy. You're going to fail. That's wild. Like, stay in your lane. Know your role, right? We've heard all of these big things that our family of origin has told us and people that we surround ourselves with have told us. So here's the deal. If that is your fear, if you are afraid of creating goals because you're like, people are going to make fun of me, they're going to judge me, they're going to laugh at me, they're going to reject me, my biggest advice to you is, if this is your fear, is get around a bunch of people in a community like my Ambitchious app with women from all across the globe who are all there for the right reasons. They're all there to support each other, to cheerlead each other. They would never say in a million years over on my Ambitchious app that your dreams are too crazy. Never. They want your dreams to be crazier. Believe me. So get yourself a good community and a good group of people, a good circle of friends who are all on your level or even better than you. People that are doing better than you. They're making more money than you. They're making bigger moves than you. They're making bigger deals than you. They have more success than you. They have more of a motivational mindset than you. And like, immerse yourself and marinate in that energy. And then as far as your lofty goals, audacious goals, your dreams, your aspirations, don't tell a fucking soul that is not on your level or higher what your goals, dreams, and aspirations are. Because I'm telling you that if you tell people all your moves all the time, the naysayers and the judgmental fuck faces are going to come crawling out of the woodworks, right? Crawling out of the asshole like tapeworms, and they're going to shit on your parade. So don't keep your fucking mouth closed. I see so many people on social media telling everyone their big moves. And it's like, these motherfuckers that are on your social media, most of them, 98% of them, they don't even deserve to know your goals. They don't even deserve to know your dreams and aspirations, okay? So keep your mouth shut and only talk about the lofty, audacious things with people who are doing the damn thing, okay? The second thing is, they don't know how to goal set. They don't know how to create and achieve. And that is why I'm here today. I'm going to teach you how and how I've done it for the last 20 years. And that's why I am a 7-figure earner. I am successful. I have financial freedom. I have time freedom. I have location freedom. I have real joy, because I have taught myself over the years how to manifest everything I desire and more. So I'm going to teach you how. That's really the second reason why people don't do it. The third reason is they don't realize how important speaking victory into their goals are. Because most people, 98% of the human population, especially if you've listened to Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil book, if you have not listened to that, you better go listen to it, because it will fucking blow your mind open. It's one of my favorite books in the world. One of my favorite teachings in the absolute world is drifters. 98% of the human population are fucking drifters. They don't know why they're here. They don't know what they're doing. They have no rhyme or reason to anything that they do. They're just fucking zombies. They wake up in their box and they go and eat out of a box, and they watch the box, and then they get in a little box and they drive to their little box and they work all day in the box, and they come home in their box, and then they eat out of another box, and then they sit in front of the box until they go and lay in another box and go to bed. That is their fucking life. They're box people. And I, my friend, in my Ambitchious community are not box people. We are expansive and explosive. And that's what I want for each and every one of you. So stop being fucking drifters. And the last reason is kind of twofold. They're either really super afraid of failure, or they're really super afraid of success. And both of those things are protection strategies of self-sabotage. So a lot of people will come to me and they'll say, I'm so afraid of failure. I'm so afraid of failure. But without failure, how are you supposed to learn the lessons that you need to be more expansive, to grow whatever you're doing, to go to the next level? Like, a lot of people think that people that are successful, that they've just had all this success. It's like, dude, if you saw how many fucking times I've fallen on my face and I've done stupid shit and I've fucked up my finances and I've just made a total jackass of myself over the years, you would laugh. But I don't show you all those things, because really you only see the highlight reel unless you're on my app, and then that's where I'm really vulnerable with my community and I really am like my Katie Boyd motherfucking self. But if you're watching me on Instagram, I'm not sharing all my sadness with you and all my failure and all my self-sabotage. I'm showing you my fucking highlight reel, just like everyone else in the goddamn world is. And that's a self-sabotage strategy. But the other thing is I'd like to really challenge each and every one of you and say, I would say 98% of you are not really afraid of failure. I think most people are afraid of success. Like, if I succeed, if I become a millionaire, if I have the body I desire, if I have the relationship I desire, if I have all the things that I desire, which are from the 6 life makers, right? Like, if I have the divine connection that I desire, if I have the boundaries and the emotions that I desire, if I have the health and wellness I desire, if I have the relationships that I desire, if I have the environment that I desire, and if I have the financial freedom and money mindset that I desire, will people still love me? Will they accept me? I can't tell you how many women that I coach from all across the globe that they can't get out of their own fucking way because they're afraid that their mothers or their parents or their sisters or their brothers or their friends won't love them anymore because they say to them, oh, don't get too big for your britches. Don't forget where you came from. La, 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 la. It's like, dude, I'm never going to forget where I came from, but I don't want to go back there. I want to go up. And like I said, a lot of people think it's fear of failure, but it's not. It's actually fear of success. So I challenge you. So those are the 4 problems why people don't actually have goals in the first place. And we're going to kibosh that today. We're going to take you to the next level, and we're going to help you step into your most ambitious, audacious life. So the first thing that we have to do to reverse engineer our goals is we have to have desire, right? We have to have the desire to actually have a life that's worth living, a life that we're proud of, right? And desire, the word desire is of the Father. The Latin root of desire, de, is of the Father. So anything that you desire in your life is from God. It's from the divine. It's from the deities. You see all the D words, DE words are all like from the same Latin root. So when you desire something, that means God placed that thing in your heart. God placed that thing in your heart. So we have to follow suit. We really have to follow suit. We have to know what we desire. And the only limit that we have in our desires is ourselves. No one is holding a gun to your head saying, think small, have small dreams. No one is doing that. We are creating the self-limiting beliefs. And we have to ask ourselves, like, how bad do we fucking want this thing? And what are we going to give to create this thing and attain this thing? And how hungry are we for this thing? Right? So there was an old story from Socrates, the philosopher, and he had someone come to him one day, a young man, and he said, Socrates, I want to be a philosopher just like you. And Socrates like, I don't really know if that's what you really want. I mean, the pay sucks. Like, it's a lot of hours contemplating, like, it's a lot of pressure and blah, blah, blah. And the kid's like, no, I want to be a philosopher just like you. And he goes, okay, if you want to be a philosopher, come with me. I'll show you how to be a philosopher. And he went into this body of water with this kid, and he kept going deeper and deeper and deeper, walking into the water with his clothes on. And then all of a sudden he got to a certain part of the water, and he just took this kid's head and just dunked his fucking head under the water. And at first the kid was like, well, maybe this is just like an initiation into the Stoic philosophy, like, fraternity or whatever. So for a couple of, like 30 seconds, he was like not really nervous about it. But then all of a sudden your oxygen starts to run out because you're being held underwater by someone who's bigger than you, right? That has more control, more power over you. And then all of a sudden he started kicking and flailing and freaking the fuck out. And then after like a minute or so, Socrates pulled him out of the water and pretty much said like, okay, like, when you were under there, what was the only thing, once you started to panic, what was the only thing that you thought about? And he goes, the only thing I could think about was air, breathing, oxygen in my lungs because I was so afraid to die. And Socrates pretty much said to him, like, this has to be the way that you come at this philosophy thing. And I'm using this story as for us, like, we have to want the thing that we desire as bad as we want to breathe. And I'm telling you right now, most of you out there in Ambitchious land are like, well, maybe if it happens, it'll be cool. Like, I don't know, whatever. Like, it happens, it happens. It doesn't. No, You have to make the main thing the main thing. You have to be narrow like an arrow to hit your bullseye. It has to be the one and only focus, the one and only desire. And you have to want it so bad. You have to desire it so much. You have to be so fucking hungry for it that come hell or high water, there is no yielding. There is no letting up. This is the thing that God put on your heart and you will do it. You don't care how long it takes. You don't care if you don't eat. You don't care if you don't sleep. You don't care if whatever. It's the numero uno thing. And I'm telling you, that's the only way that you can achieve your goals, desires, and aspirations and reverse engineer your loftiest dreams. You have to want it as bad as you want to breathe. And you have to know your definiteness of purpose. Like if someone woke me up at 3 a.m. and I was in a dead ass sleep and they shook me and they said, Katie Boyd, what is your definiteness of purpose? I don't know why I just used like a Southern drill instructor voice, but like that's what I hear in my head when I'm talking about this. What is your definiteness of purpose? And I wake up and I say, my definiteness of purpose is to awaken as many women as I can from all across the globe to live life ambitiously, period. That's the only reason I'm here. I mean, yeah, do I want to shit, fuck, piss, have fun, eat some good food? Yeah, of course. Like life is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be a struggle. But at the end of the day, each and every one of us, I don't care who you are in the world, are here for a purpose. And you must know your definiteness of purpose. And the other thing, just to pontificate the first thing that I'm talking about, is your desire must be personal. Your desire must be personal. I have so many women that come to me and they're like, can you heal my husband through me because he's a jackass? Can you heal my mother through me because she's see you next Tuesday? Can you make my husband or my friend or my child become better through me because I know that if they become better, my life will be better? And I'm like, no, bitch, that's not how it fucking works. You cannot want something for someone else. You cannot create and attain goals for other people. Just like you have to want it as bad as you want to breathe, so do they. And just because they're your family, and just because they're your friends and your loved ones and your coworkers and all these things, doesn't mean that they are going to level up to your vibrational frequency. Remember, everyone on this planet is living at their own level of consciousness. And you may be highly awakened being and you're trying to make everyone get on this bus with you. And guess what? It's diluting your precious life force energy. And then you wonder why you feel like a bag of smashed assholes every day. So the desire has to be personal. It has to be your desire. You cannot desire goals for other people. And that's when you utilize my tools and Ambitchious that I teach in all of my, on my app. And all of my different programs is, making a list of the perfect thing, the perfect day, your goals, concrete and concise, right? You have to hunger and desire it as bad as you want to breathe, period. The next thing that we need to reverse engineer our goals is the belief. Like you have to believe so deep in your heart, so deep on a cellular level, so deep on an energetic, vibratory, auric level, that this is the thing, that there is no other alternative. You have to believe that you are deserving and worthy and smart enough and good enough and any of the things enough, because if your mind holds two opposing beliefs, the universe and God cannot send you what you desire because you're confusing the universe. You're confusing God. God and the universe are not fucking mind readers. God is not up there wherever God is and saying like, oh, I hope that Katie really gets all her goals, dreams, and aspirations. I don't know why God sounds like that, but I'm really full of fucking voices today. But anyways, you know what I'm saying? Like he, she, whatever it is not up there saying that. You have to command God and you have to command the universe to give you what you desire. And there cannot be opposing beliefs. There cannot be opposing thoughts. So if you say to me, by 2023, the end of 2023, okay, I desire to have $1 million liquid cash in a bank account. I'm just throwing something random out there, right? But then in the back of your mind, you say, well, it's never happened yet. How am I going to make $1 million when I only make $50,000 a year? Like all these fucking very three-dimensional construct ideas come into your brain, and then it creates opposing belief. Then it creates a split in your soul. And remember, belief becomes your reality. So if you believe that you really can't do it because you have all of these limiting beliefs and you have all these opposing ideas, then sorry to say, bitch, but as God says, your wish is my command. It's like Aladdin and the magic lamp. It's like you rub the lamp, that is belief and desire, and the genie comes out and wants to grant you 3 wishes. Well, you better be really clear cut and concise on those wishes. Okay? So belief becomes your reality. You have to be the person now and believe you are that person now so that you can pull those energies into you. So I say to myself, who is Katie at this level? Like, who is she? How does she look? How does she talk? How does she walk? How does she show up? How does she serve? How does she give value? How does she make deals? How does she do collaborations with people? How does she dress? What is her home like? What is her spiritual? Use the 6 life makers. Go through them. Like, how do I show up in my spiritual life? How do I show up in my boundaries? How do I show up in my relationships? How do I show up in my health and wellness? How do I show up in my home, in my environment, in my money mindset, in all the things that I talk about in Ambitchious? Because it's the law of reversibility. You have to feel equals act. And if you don't feel it, you have to act it. And I'm not saying fake it till you make it, because I don't subscribe to that shit. I'm saying that we have to show up as the people that we desire to be for the universe to take us seriously. Right? Period. And now the next thing is writing it down. So like I touched a little bit upon this in the first part of the podcast today, but writing it down. We have to write down our goals in every way, clearly and concisely. Remember, linking the hand to the brain, because the magic comes from the spelling. Spelling is creating a magic wand. It's creating fairy dust. It's creating a magic spell. When you speak, you're casting spells. When you write, you're casting spells. Remember, you are the witch, you are the medicine woman, you're the high priestess, you're the creatrix. Okay? No one else. So remember, you can't hit a target that you can't see. You can't hit a target that you can't see. Okay? So what is the target? So you write down your goal. And then you say, okay, let's just say, like I was saying before, by the end of 2023, remember I teach this in my Ambitchious Abundance Affirmation that I have all my girls say in the morning and at night. I teach it on the Ambitchious app. It's so important for manifesting your goals, dreams, and desires. Every woman that has ever done this has reached 6 and 7 figures. They found the man of their dreams. They have the life of their dreams because of this fucking thing that you say in the morning and at night, because you're brainwashing your subconscious mind to believe it. And when your subconscious mind is vibrating at a certain frequency, it's going to attract and manifest all of the things that you desire. So let's just say you say, by January 1st of 2024, I will have in my possession $1 million liquid cash. Okay, how are you going to do that? Think about what your definiteness of purpose is. So for me, creating abundance and wealth in my life is, how will I do that? I will do that by being the catalyst for the Ambitchious movement and giving women from all across the globe real, tangible tools to manifest their most ambitious lives and become the HBIC of their lives. Okay, that's my definiteness of purpose. Okay, Katie, how will you do that? Well, I will podcast weekly. I will have my own app where I give unlimited, incredible, over-the-top service and value to anyone that is on my app. I will also be doing collaborations with other like-minded people in my space. I will be doing speaking engagements. I will be having events, in-person events. I will be doing a television show. I will be facilitating retreats. Okay, these are just some of the things that I do, right? Then you have to say to yourself, what do I not want? What do I not want? Because you have to know what you stand for and you have to know what you don't stand for. And so I have a list of things that I don't like. That's my hell's no list. And some of the things that I don't want right now, I'm still doing because I'm filtering out and I'm changing over to the new way of being after my last dark night of the soul. And that's why the main thing is the main thing, which is the app, right? That's where I'm doing all of my service and all of my value. That's where I'm showing up, okay? And then you have to say, okay, it may take a little time to get rid of the things that I don't want, but that's okay because at least I know that these are the things that I don't want. So I'm not going to keep falling into that I don't want to do this trap, right? And then you set little mini goals. Okay, if I just said these are all the ways that I'm going to show up, then how am I going to show up? Okay, I'm going to go on Instagram and I'm going to post. I'm going to do reels. I'm going to do lives. I'm going to do stories, right? I'm going to do weekly podcasts. I'm going to be on other people's podcasts. I'm going to do collaborations on other people's social media, right? I'm going to have educators come onto my app and do education. Like all these different fucking things are going to reverse engineer your highest, grandest dream and vision for yourself. Okay. That is how you reverse engineer your goals. Now, the next thing, number 4, is determine why this is your goal. Determine why this is your goal. So Nietzsche said, a man can bear any what if he has a big enough why. Let me say that again. A man can bear any what if he has a big enough why. So when the world is falling apart around you and you're going through a dark night of the soul and things are fucked up and they're falling apart and you feel unworthy and you don't feel deserving and you feel shitty and low vibrational frequency and you're in your testing time, which BTW, we will all go through. You're either in a crisis, leaving a crisis, or going into a crisis. That is fucking life. I don't know why or who told us that, we're not supposed to have any fucking problems. That is not life. But the problems are showing up to teach you these lessons and helping you evolve to the next level. So when you're in that testing time, you need to say to yourself, okay, I'm being tested right now. I'm in a weird place, but guess what? I know what my why is. So even though I'm a little off course right now and I don't feel so fucking fresh, I'm still going to show up the right way because I know why I'm doing it in the first place. Okay. So what is your why? The 5th thing is analyze your current situation and be fucking honest with yourself. Okay. So people will come to me and they'll say, this happens all the time. I want to be a billionaire. And I'm like, why? And they tell me all these fucking stupid reasons. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, how much are you making right now a year? And they say $40,000. And I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of a massive jump from making 40 G's to $1 billion, right? Now, I'm not saying that could never happen, but let's be honest with ourselves. Like, are you giving service and are you giving value and are you working and are you showing up like a billionaire? Or are you showing up as a $40,000 a year person? And that's truly, honestly, one of the things that I've realized is like, we want more, but we don't want to give more. We desire more value in our lives, but we do not show up and give more value. We desire more service to be provided in our lives, but we are not providing any service. So the law of reciprocity, which is a universal law, is like gravity. It is a fucking law. What goes up must come down, okay? Whatever you give out there to the universe, you will get it back. And I mean that in a good way, but I also mean that in a bad way. If you're showing up like a fucking scumbag every day, you're going to have a scumbag life. That is just the way it goes. And I have so many clients that I don't work with any longer that were just showing up and trying to bamboozle people to further their own agendas. And I actually had a woman recently. She had signed up last year for Ambitchious Academy, and she didn't want to pay the last payment of Ambitchious Academy that was in her contractual agreement. Now, mind you, I wipe my ass with $189, okay? Because that's who I am now. But I'm like, bitch, you signed a contract. You're an entrepreneur. You're trying to start this business, and you don't want to give me the last amount of money that you owe me for this contract that you signed. Do you think for 1 second that in this new business that you're creating that someone's not going to fuck you on a contract? And when you do that shit, it comes back to you tenfold. So they're not going to just fuck you over on $189. They're going to fuck you on like 2 G's. That's how it fucking works. So how are you showing up? Analyzing your current situation. Are you showing up like a fucking winner or are you showing up like a wiener, right? And just what is the reality? Be honest where you're at. And then when you become super realistic in what you desire, then you demonstrate or you flex your ambitious muscles to show the universe that you're ready to go to that next level. And then you can start achieving these very audacious, lofty goals. But you have to start small, and then you have to work your way up. Because I always tell people, like, you know, like when people play the lottery and they win the lottery, and like within a year, like the millions of dollars they won, they just like squander it and they just like give it away, and they end up like right back in the same fucking motorhome community that they were living in before. It's because this is another law. It's like you have the law of the universe teaches us little by little how to handle bigger things. So like the Katie I was 20 years ago could never handle the shit that I handle now, because I've grown and I've adapted and I've evolved and I've ascended, and I've had all these failures and fall downs that have taught me all these life lessons. When you give someone a lot of money and they haven't learned the life lessons, they don't appreciate it and they don't understand it. They don't even know how to hold it the proper way, because they weren't guided in this certain universal lawful way. And it's the same thing with people who like have an overnight success. Like, you know, you see these like, and listen, none of it's an overnight success, but like, you know, you go from like a nobody to like being like a Justin Bieber, and you've never had to like understand like about like drugs and being tempted and, you know, putting yourself in all these like fucked up situations. And then all of a sudden you become a drug addict and you squander all your money and you fucking OD. Like that is what happens. So I would rather have my ambitious followers start small and just work their way up and learn the lessons, so that when they do experience their goals, that they don't fuck it up and squander it. And I know that you know what I'm talking about, because I know you've probably seen so many people do this in the past. It's a phenomena. The next one is set a deadline. This is number 6. Set a deadline. Okay. In Ambitchious Academy and on the app, I teach the girls, like I talked about doing the Ambitchious Abundance affirmation. I also teach it in my book. And remember, like if we say like, oh, I want to be a millionaire. Okay. When? In 2052 or like at the end of this year? Because each things are possible and each things are your reality. It just depends on the deadline that you set. So set your big goals, right? And set smaller sub goals, right? So what I like to do is, let's just say, set a 5-year goal. And then you want to set yearly goals. And then you want to set quarterly goals and monthly goals and weekly goals and daily goals. I talk about like the daily goals are like the bitch list. I talk about them a lot in my programs. And those are like the 5 little goals every day that if you do them, they're going to make you feel like $1 million. And for me, they're small. It's like number 1 is like drinking a gallon of water every day and taking my supplements. Number 2 is like movement and stretching and mobility, which are all the same thing. You know, I'm moving my body. Number 3 is like the way I'm eating, like intuitive eating. Number 4 is like sleep, how much sleep I'm getting. And then number 5 is like my breath work and my meditation. If I can get those 5 things under my belt first thing in the day, anything else that I accomplish that day is just icing on the cake. And then what those little goals teach you is to create the bigger goals and the bigger goals and the bigger goals. Because if you can do those 5 things on your bitch list every day, you can be a millionaire. You can find the man of your dreams. You can have the home of your dreams. You can have the business of your dreams. But you have to start small. And you have to create reasonable deadlines. Okay? Number 7 is you have to ask yourself, what do I have to overcome to reverse engineer these goals? What is the bottleneck in my life? What is truly holding me back? And it's so funny where, you know, my grandmother always used to say there's a seat for every ass. And I never understood what that meant. But like, for example, like me and my online business manager, Kim Fox, like she loves to do like technical, computer, nitty gritty, like those types of things. She loves to organize like the app and do all these amazing things. And now if you said to me, Katie, you have to do this, I would like literally throw myself off a bridge. I'm like, I hate it. I hate it. I am like, you know, Kim always says like, you're the talent. Like you just show up and you do what you have to do and you serve and you give value. And I'm the one that's like behind the scenes, making it cohesive and making it easy to, you know, consume on the app. Right. But the bottleneck for a lot of you who are entrepreneurs or in the coaching space are you don't have a Kim, and you're trying to like learn all these things instead of just hiring someone, even if you don't have a lot of money at the moment, just hiring someone just to do these like little one-off things that you don't want to do, or you don't know how to do, or you don't have the time to learn how to do it. Because like some of the shit that Kim does would take me like 6 months to learn and get a hold of, when she just like does it in 2 seconds. And I need to focus on making the main thing, which is serving on my app and providing value and education and empowerment and entertainment for the girls who pay for the Ambitchious app and pay for the community and are part of that Ambitchious bitchterhood. So you ask yourself, what is the bottleneck that's holding you back? So for example, if you desire to release weight, what is the bottleneck? Oh, I smoke pot at night and I eat a bunch of shit. So I'm good all day. And as soon as I get high, or as soon as I take that edible, I eat a bunch of shit. Or the bottleneck for me is like, not for me, because I wake up early, but like the bottleneck for me is like, I don't wake up early enough. So then by the time I wake up and I get all my shit done, it's like 4:00 in the afternoon and there's no time to like create the things that I know are going to move the needle forward. So what's the bottleneck, bitch? You need to put a fucking alarm on. You need to get up earlier. Right? Or the bottleneck could be like you're hanging out with a bunch of fucking pigeons when you're an eagle. I don't know what the bottleneck is for each and every one of you, but you have to be very realistic with what you have to overcome to reverse engineer these goals to be the person that achieves goals like this. The next one is it's number 8, stop being I can't even say this, I get a lisp. Stop being a thumb-sucking crybaby tit victim. So many of you out there in Ambitchious land don't even realize that you're being a crybaby tits. You don't even realize that you're playing the victim. You don't even realize that you're being a wah-wah pissy pants. You don't realize it. And you blame people for why you are where you are. And you blame circumstances or past experiences for why you are who you are and why you are the way you are. But the bottom line is you need to look inside of your fucking self and be honest with yourself. Remember, the truth shall set you free. Once you say that you're being a crybaby tits and you're being a victim, you can heal it. It's like being an alcoholic and going to AA and you say, hey, I'm Tim and I'm an alcoholic. And everyone's like, hi, Tim. Then you can heal being an alcoholic. It's the same thing with being a crybaby tit. You have to admit that you're being a thumb sucker. And then you have to say to yourself, what skills do I need? What skills am I lacking? Why am I being a victim? Maybe I grew up in this victim mentality. Maybe my mother or my grandmother, my family of origin taught me these things and they're just old programming. We have to release them. That's why it's so important to do healing work. We do a lot of shadow work around this and we do a lot of healing work around this in the Ambitchious app. So if you're really ready to go to that next level, head on over there. The link is in the show notes. And you know what? Who gives an absolute fuck if it takes time to achieve these goals after you have admitted that you're the problem? Because the time is going to pass regardless, right? So knowledge and skill and discipline and being honest and truthful with yourself is truly what is going to take you to the next level, right? The next one is you have to make a plan. And then you have to go into the goal, really look deep into it, and know what must be done to achieve it. Like I said before, what's the goal? What do I want? What do I not want? What are the things that I need to learn to achieve it? What is the old programming that I need to release to achieve this goal? Who are the right people that I need help from or I need to hire to help me achieve these goals? Like, really think deeply about it. This is not something to take lightly, guys. This is like your whole life is riding on this. And the legacy that you leave is riding on this. The next one is, after you write all your goals down, like I said, I want you to review them every day, multiple times a day. I know that for a fact that I do it every morning with my Ambitchious Abundance affirmation while I'm having coffee. I look at my goals throughout the day. I have them on like a little note card in my office. I place them throughout my home and my office. So I'm always constantly, it's on top of mind and it's in my sight. And that's what I do. So at night, in the morning, and throughout the day, always be goal-minded. Because your mind is just like this open door where everybody can just get in there and like distract you with a bunch of shit. So when people start distracting you from your goal, you have to say, is this thing that this person's bringing to me, or is this thing that I'm watching or listening to or experiencing helping me achieve this goal? Is it the main thing? And if it's not, you fucking move it along. I'm sorry. I know that, you want me to do this with you, but this has nothing to do with my goals. And like, that's the end of the day. Unless like it's a symbiotic relationship thing where it's like, you're going to help them and they're going to help you. Like, I am so sick of doing things for people and there's no symbiosis. And, my husband said to me the other day, he goes, you know what your biggest problem is? I'm like, oh, here we fucking go. I'm going to kill this bitch. I'm like, what, Matt? And he's like, you give people who don't deserve things that they don't deserve. And I'm like, tell me more. And he's like, well, you have clients that come on that have businesses, and then you let some of them on your podcast, or you let them do certain events with you, or you let them, do collaborations with you on your social media, or you send people to them to get like services and stuff like that. And guess what? They've never proved to you that they even deserve that from you. And why are you like that? And I'm like, oh my God, I never even thought of that. And I had to go and do shadow work around, and I had to say to myself, wow, I really have some parts of me that still want to be liked and loved, that still feel unworthy, that still feel not enough, that still feel like I'm not a cool girl. And I always have to be doing this work with people. And guess what? That is something that I'm stopping. I actually stopped it this week. It was a very conscious effort of being distracted by people who don't deserve my time. They don't deserve my community. They don't deserve my energy because there's no symbiotic relationship. And like, yeah, it's hard for me because I always want to help people because that is my definiteness of purpose. But guess what? People have to prove to you also while you're achieving your goals and while they're trying to achieve their goals that they deserve your help. We're not just going into this new year blindly giving things to people that they don't fucking deserve, that they haven't proven that they deserve from you. The next one is you need to stop visualizing and you need to start visioning. So you need to stop visualizing and you need to start visioning. When people say, oh, this person's a visionary, there is no greater compliment than that, in my opinion. You have to have a vision, a higher vision for your life. And then you have to see this vision as a reality every day of your life. Remember how I was talking about like, okay, here's the vision. And then who does Katie have to be to create that reality? And it's really the universal law of cause and effect. It truly is. So like you see it, people always say like, I'll believe it when I see it, but you have to actually kind of like take that and reverse it and say, I'll see it when I believe it. And then the next one is you have to back up these goals to reverse engineer them. You have to back them up with determination. You have to become a fucking animal. You have to become unstoppable. I can't tell you how many clients that I coach and have coached in the past that they get all horned up when they have a meeting with me and they're like, oh my God. And I give people fucking $1 million ideas. Ask anyone. I give people $1 million ideas. And then people like Candace Marino, the LA facialist, actually take my ideas and they become unstoppable. They become so determined, become hell or high water, they're going to become this person. And then I have this other side of the fence of people that they say they want all these things, but they don't want to do the things that it takes to be that person and to achieve those goals. So you have to become undetermined and unstoppable and unshakable and unflappable and undistracted to reverse engineer these goals. And the next thing is you have to know how you desire to feel while you are achieving these goals, because there's nothing worse than feeling like a bag of smashed assholes on the whole entire road, the whole entire journey on your way to achieving these lofty, ambitious goals. So that's when we get into the core desired feelings. I talk a lot about this in my app and in my programs and in my book and on the podcast. How do you desire to feel while you're achieving these goals? For me, it's freedom. It's unflappable. It's joyful. It's intentional. It's unencumbered, right? I'm not like, oh, while I'm achieving these goals, I want to feel like shit and trash and low vibrational and sad and depressed and anxious and hurried. No, it's the opposite. So write down how you desire to feel while you're achieving these goals and then reverse engineer how you want to feel. And when you're not feeling those feelings, you have to say to yourself, am I on the right path? Because when you're on the right path, you're going to feel the way you would desire to feel. And then the next thing is wait for the 5 marshmallows. I don't know if you ever heard this story, but this is a true story. It's an actual real scientific test that they did. And I can't remember the year that it happened, but pretty much what they did was they took very low income children that were very poor, and they took very high end children that were very elite, very wealthy children. Okay. So they were the parents of poor kids. I mean, they were the kids of poor parents, and they were the kids of wealthy parents. And poor people and wealthy people teach their children very different principles, and they teach them very different tools, and they show up very differently in life. So what they said to the poor kids was, listen, I'm going to give you 1 marshmallow now, or I can give you 5 marshmallows in a half an hour. And then they said the same thing to the rich kids. I can give you this 1 marshmallow now, or I can give you these 5 marshmallows in a half an hour. What do you think that the poor kids did? They took the fucking marshmallow right then and there. What do you think the rich kids did? They waited half an hour for the 5 marshmallows. It's all about, when you're reverse engineering your goals, it's all about delayed gratification. Okay? So this has nothing to do with being rich and poor. It's an energetic vibrational frequency. It's the way that they were taught. They understand the delayed gratification. They will wait for the greater rewards in the long term. I see so many people who sell the fuck out on their way to their greatest, loftiest goals because they cannot wait for this delayed gratification. They just weren't taught that. It doesn't feel right to them, right? So remember, we are not punished for our sins, but by them. We are not punished for our sins, but by them. So if you make bad decisions, and the word sin, actually, the true meaning of the word sin is to miss the mark. It's not the way that we were raised in the Catholic Church. Like sin is like, you have mortal sins and venial sins. And if you do these sins, you go to hell or purgatory or any of that shit. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about missing the mark. So you're not punished for your sins, but by them. So think about, when I make this decision to not delay gratification, what is going to happen? It's going to push me further away from my goals. When I delay gratification, and I know that if I just save up and I just don't spend my money and I do really smart decisions, that in a year from now, I'm going to be a multimillionaire, or I'm going to have the home of my dreams, or the man of my dreams, or the body of my dreams, or whatever you desire. That is the linchpin that helps you to reverse engineer your loftiest, most ambitious goals. So that is what I'm using right now as my items to reverse engineer my most ambitious goals, dreams, and aspirations. I hope that this helped you guys immensely. And in the meantime, as you guys know, the Ambitchious app has launched. We are letting you in for the early access price of $88.88 a month, or you can pay in full for the year for $888.88. And you are getting everything. You're getting every program that I've ever created that you used to have to buy separately, like A28P. We also have my 12-week business program that has created multiple 7-figure earners. They've just by taking that business program. There is the whole entire Ambitchious Academy. There's everything on that app, from breath work, shadow work, meditation, sound healing, yoga, kickboxing, moon rituals, astrology, crystals, meal plans, recipes, cooking classes, and I do essentialism challenges, and I have you come to my goddess gathering events, and you get direct access to me on the Ambitchious app, and that is the only way to work with me going forward. I'm not doing any one-on-one coaching anymore. I'm not selling one-off bits of my programs. You pay one low monthly price and you receive everything, plus all of my education coaching that I do live on that app. So if you are really ready to take your life to ambitious levels, the app is the way to go. And I've never sold anything in my entire life for such a low price point, because God has been telling me that if I really desire to make Ambitchious a true movement that is global, I have to make this app available and working with me available to everybody in the world. And that is how you're going to be able to work with me in the Ambitchious app. Both of the links are in the show notes to get on the app and purchase your app and start experiencing everything that Ambitchious has to offer and more. When you get on there, there is a library of thousands of videos of coaching on top of coaching on top of coaching. And then I go on there every day and I coach live. It's absolutely incredible. And that is truly the only way to work with me in the new year. And I don't think that I'll ever go back to the old way because I'm having so much freaking fun and I'm delivering so much service and so much value on that app that I can't go back to the old way because it just would be blasphemous. All right. If you have any questions, you can always email me at hello@kbmfc.com. Like I said, the app is in the show notes. Tell all of your Ambitchious friends to come over to the app so they can also be part of this Ambitchious movement so they can live the rest of their lives, the best of their lives. I'm so grateful for you. I hope that this podcast inspired you, it entertained you, and it educated you, and it helped you think a little bit more outside the box so that you can step into your most ambitious life. In the meantime, don't forget to stay ambitious, and I will see you next Tuesday.